What's something only kids who grew up poor would understand? When I was 8, my third grade teacher announced our class would be taking a field trip to the Science Museum. The room lit up. Everyone started whispering excitedly about dinosaurs and IMAX movies and what snacks they'd bring. I was smiling too, until she said the trip cost $15. That night, I watched my mom stand at the kitchen counter, counting out grocery money in piles of singles and coins. She looked tired. Her jaw was tight like it got when bills came in. I stood there, silently holding my permission slip. "Mom, I need $15 for the field trip," I finally said. She didn't answer right away, just stared at the paper, blinking slowly. Then she sighed and said, "I'll figure something out." The next morning, I found an envelope with my name on it inside my backpack. It was fat and heavy. Inside was exactly $15. Quarters, dimes, nickels, a couple of pennies taped to a sticky note to keep them from falling out. No bills. I didn't understand at the time, but years later, I realized she'd emptied the change jar she kept in the back of her closet, the one labeled emergencies. At school, when I handed the coins to my teacher, a few kids saw, "Did you rob a vending machine?" One of them laughed. Another whispered, "You know money doesn't have to be dirty, right?" I didn't say anything, just stood there while my face burned hot. I remember trying to hold the envelope low, hoping no one else would notice. That weekend, my mom made boxed mac and cheese for dinner, but she didn't eat any. She told me she wasn't hungry, just tired. I believed her until I opened the fridge later that night and saw nothing inside except a carton of eggs and half a bottle of ketchup. The field trip was great. I still remember standing under the life-size T-Rex skeleton and thinking it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. But even at 8, part of me knew the price of that day. Years later, I became a teacher. Different school, different kids, but the same field trip, same $15. One day, I passed out permission slips and noticed one of my students, a quiet girl named Alina, staring down at hers like it had insulted her. She didn't say anything, just folded it neatly and slid it into her folder. 2 days later, her mom dropped off an envelope filled with coins, mostly nickels. The envelope was hand-decorated with stickers, a little heart in the corner. When I opened it later, I saw $15 in exact change, plus a note in shaky handwriting that read, "Thank you for letting her go." I recognized the look in her mother's eyes when she handed it to me. That mix of pride and worry. I recognized the silence in Alina's posture, the way she avoided eye contact during lunch that day. It was like looking into a mirror I didn't know I'd left behind. That afternoon, I went out and bought a mason jar and a label maker. I wrote Field Trip Fund and stuck it on the front. I dropped in $100 of my own cash and set it on the corner of my desk. Quietly, I mentioned during morning announcements that if anyone ever needed help with trip fees, they could take what they needed from the jar. No questions, no names. Over the next few months, parents started slipping in a few bucks during pickup. Some students dropped in extra change from snack money. One kid donated his birthday money because field trips are awesome and everyone should go. We've never missed a trip. The jar never runs empty. When it gets low, someone always adds to it. An envelope, a folded 20, once even a gift card that someone taped to the lid with a sticky note that said, "Use this if the jar runs out." This spring, we had another trip to the Science Museum. Alina went. She wore a new backpack and brought a homemade sandwich in foil. She asked me 3 times if we were going to see the T-Rex. I told her we were. When we got to the exhibit, she ran ahead and stood frozen under the giant skeleton, staring up with her mouth slightly open. She turned to me and whispered, "I can't believe it's real." I smiled, handed her my phone, and let her take a picture. Then I walked away to give her a moment alone with the dinosaur.